Please describe your job and its tasks.
Okay, I've been doing the work of the Director of Planning and Budget and Institutional Research for about 2.5 years now for Eastern Illinois University.
Okay, and how many people do you employ?
We're 6 in the shop right now.
Okay, and today we're going to talk about motivation. So why do you think motivation is important in the workplace?
Well, I think it's probably the most important thing in the workplace, because if you're not motivated, you're not going to come to work.
Out of the following factors, which would you say motivates your employees the most, and why? A positive atmosphere, decision-making powers, promotion opportunities, development opportunities such as training, which increases your skills, or feeling appreciated?
Probably, it's not really identified separately, but I think a sense of autonomy is probably the most important factor. And if that's sort of embodied in the positive atmosphere, your decision-making powers and feeling appreciated, I think having that sense of autonomy, the fact that you can come in and pretty much carve out your own work day and work at your own pace, develop the processes and the methods and timelines and data, all that sense of independence is what really, I think, is appreciated by people.
Supervisor at EIU's annual fund, and we use motivation a lot in our job, because what we do is we call alumni and we try to get donations from them to support Eastern, and that's not always an easy thing to do.
You can't ask all employees to do everything. You pretty much have to tailor it to their specific job description. People are pretty much, you come to the workplace pretty much a fully formed individual, and you require a set of values that were reviewed by your relatives, by your parents, and a lot of it just sort of your genetic makeup. And that you really can't go much against that grain. So there's short-term things that you can do to coerce people or cajole them and give them short-term incentives to get them to improve their performance. But in short order, it'll go back to some kind of equilibrium.
So some of the ways that we use motivational tactics would be to do prizes, games, candy. Each week we divide the call center into 2 teams, and whoever makes the most money that week gets a prize, such as a pizza party or maybe a gift card. So that's some of the ways that we use motivation.
Out of the 4 functions of management, which are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, which one do you think relates to motivation the most?
Leading and controlling. I think a controlling influence in the workplace typically backfires. People are really resistant to control. If you make recommendations or suggestions, it's a lot more goes down a lot better than if you try to dictate and get people to do things through coercion. Leading has, I think, a real dynamic behind it in terms of establishing a vision, establishing a sense of mission with the staff. Again, people are just incredibly bright. They'll pick up on what the job is all about and what we're really trying to accomplish pretty much by osmosis. great bosses made the job even better, but in terms of did I work harder because they were there? Not really. I mean, I worked as hard as I was always inclined to work. The compensation level, I always thought was pursuing that originally as being something important, and it is. You want to feel as though you've got a relatively fair rate of compensation for what you do, but that quickly pales based on me. They could pay me half of what I'm making now, or 2 times what I'm making now. I'm not going to work likely any harder or any less hard if that was the case.
Some of the biggest challenges for our work is, say, a caller gets mean alumni who says something rude to them or just gets hung up on. That can really lower their morale. So some things that we do is we'll just take a break and just maybe laugh it off, and just to keep up their morale, because if they have one bad call, it can affect every other call they make.
And then the occasional recognition, I think that's important too. You don't want to overdo it because then it becomes, loses its effect. But even the occasional pat on the back, it's great to have, but the transitory effect is there. It's not necessarily long lasting. It's the nature of the work, I think, that really drives people.
So I think that motivation is the key to any organization, and I think that if your employees are not motivated, it can make or break your organization.